I'm a bit of an oddball. Always have been. But I'm not ashamed of that fact. It makes life more interesting for me. I like to imagine it makes me more enigmatic as well, but that's probably me just indulging my not inconsiderable ego. Alright, I am so sorry about that, guys. The point, however, is this. I've got some unusual ways of looking at the world. For instance, if you asked everyone on the planet about the meaning of life, what do you suppose the answers would be? They would be far-ranging, but I think we could expect a dozen or so common themes around which the majority of people's answers would cluster. We'd hear about love and service to others, adventure, experience, survival of the fittest, proving your worth, and living simply. We'd most certainly run into people who believe life was about serving God. Just as we would discover that many people believe life has no meaning whatsoever. But me, I think everyone is wrong. And I think everyone is right. Because I believe the meaning of life is all of these things. It just depends on what story is being told. The purpose of this channel is the same as that of life. Story. In the end, everything comes back to story. Everything about human existence concerns and hinges on narrative. Each individual life is a story. Every day is a story. Every activity, every event. That's what history is. Stories that last and give shape to the reality we live in today. Even religion is about stories. The ones that inspire or motivate us to be better. Stories are all around us, in everything we do. Life, after all, is just one vast saga. We're all characters, and we each have a part to play. It's all about stories with us. And, in the words of expert storyteller Varric Tethris, there's power in stories. That's why storytellers do what we do. The careers of all storytellers, authors, filmmakers, playwrights, video game developers, even songwriters, are built on the assumption that stories are powerful, that stories change people. They challenge us to grow and explore, to look at the world in new ways. They cause us to reevaluate the world and our place in it. Research is beginning to suggest what storytellers have known for eons, that stories affect how we think, how we perceive life and the world around us, and, by extension, the way we act. But we don't really need new research to tell us all that, do we? The evidence is all around us in daily life, and it's apparent in even the most cursory glance through the past. Stories have proven throughout human history to be far more than simply art or entertainment. They are often radical agents of change. To demonstrate this, I could cite any number of stories from any one of the major religions in the world, but that seems a bit too obvious. How about the Iliad? Homer's epic influenced generations of Greek tradition, which, in turn, affected every aspect of Western civilization. It also kept in place a Greek warrior ethos that radically reshaped the world through the actions of Alexander the Great. Funnily enough, Alexander was not Greek, but the Macedonians of his time adored Greek culture and emulated it in almost every way. Alexander was raised on the Iliad. He was greatly inspired by the ethos it espoused, and he believed himself to be a continuation of its epic, a new Achilles for a later age. Where would the world be now if not for the Iliad's influence on one of the great shapers of history? Somewhere very different, that's certain. This is just one example out of thousands, tens of thousands of examples that could be used. For a comparably recent example, look at Uncle Tom's Cabin. Harriet Beecher Stowe's novel of a slave was the most sold book of the 1800s after the Bible, and it redefined the views of hundreds of thousands of Americans in the 19th century on an issue that was, up to that point in time, viewed at best with apathy by the majority of the American population. In actual modern times, look at films like Star Wars that have become part of national and world culture. Even people who have not experienced the films themselves use jargon and references inspired by the Star Wars universe, often without even realizing that they're doing so. People have remembered and recounted fairy tales like those from the Brothers Grimm and Aesop's Fables for centuries because of the timeless archetypes and lessons they present. 1001 Nights revealed the human longing for the never-ending story and informed static cultures of a wider, more imaginative world. The Canterbury Tales made freaking rock legends out of Arthur, Lancelot, and the Knights of the Round Table worldwide, despite their somewhat niche positions in time and geography, and popularized a chivalric code that is still often cited and, in many ways, lived by today. Stories are powerful. The world in which we live has been shaped by story more than anything else. So, have I gotten my point across? Are stories powerful, or am I just a ranting lunatic? The latter is very probable. I'm going to try to get some discussion going in the comments in the future. That way you don't have to listen to only one person's highly biased opinion on this channel. After all, the internal and external conversations brought about by stories are what unleash their potential for power. Please like if you enjoyed this content. Also, hit the subscribe button below to receive notifications for new videos. I appreciate it. Every like and subscribe does wonders for helping a small channel like this one get off the ground. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Dakota Kemp, and this is The Power of Stories. I can't remember any of my lines. I'm a bit of an oddball. Always have been. I'm gonna need this in my hand. You can't see my hand, right? I'm a bit of an oddball. Always have been.
I'm just gonna go over there.
You're getting loud.
Man,
cannot remember my lines. Hard to memorize one paragraph.